Shut up and sit down.
Hello, this is Amanda.
And this is Chris. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of That's Nice, Who Cares?
Long day.
Oh my god. It's been a long several days. It's been a little while since we posted an episode. For those waiting in wondrous anticipation for another episode, we apologize to all two of you or whatever it is. I don't know.
We've been working, teaching.
Our kids are out of school until August at the earliest.
Well, technically, I'm the teacher.
Well,
I'm teaching.
They don't leave the house.
Yeah.
I am home because I'm mandated to telework. Life is fun. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about
PPE, baby. That's right. Personal protective equipment. I just got to talk about this.
And why, you may ask, we're talking about this. And this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode because I'm exhausted. I need some ice cream and alcohol. And for some reason, right now we're currently recording on our smartphone for the YouTube channel and an audio program on the laptop. After a certain period of time, I don't know, some of you may notice that there is a slight lag halfway through our videos. It's because that split second or two that crosses over because the video is too long and we can't seem to line the audio and the video up. So we're going to try to keep it a little shorter until our other equipment comes in.
Yes.
So
hashtag stimulus bill.
Yes. Once we get the stimulus bill, which should be
stimulus check. I'm sorry.
Yeah, stimulus check. Once we get that, we're going to invest into this podcast.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
Yes. And well, it was bipartisan. Let's be fair. It was bipartisan.
His idea, but
it was bipartisan.
Doing the whole
yeah. Okay. So we're going to invest a little bit of money into our podcast and try to grow and do things.
Okay. Well, let's move on here.
Yeah.
Let's not linger on this video stuff. Okay. So PPE. Just gotta talk about it. Okay. So let me just tell you one thing. Being in the healthcare industry, you just need to know a thing or two about common sense. So when you put the glove on, okay, and you go into the grocery store, you touch the cart because you think you're protected, correct?
Sure.
You touch the handles, so you will shoo and go shopping, right?
Okay.
People don't think about this. So you touch the cart, you're getting things from the shelf, okay, whatever, get my stuff. Then your telephone rings. What do you do? You pick it up. And what do you have on, my friends? You have on a glove that has not only touched a cart, has not only touched multiple items, okay, which is disgusting.
True.
Now you're touching your phone, okay, you're putting all this crap on your phone. Then you get done shopping. You think, oh my God, I'm so protective. I'm not bringing the coronavirus home with me. I'm being so smart. Okay, so then they go in their car and they have to text or whatever, sync their Bluetooth, whatever. The glove's already off at this point, and by that time, it's probably on the ground because I have actually seen multiple gloves on the ground.
Lots of gloves, especially in Walmart.
Which is actually freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
There's a trash can for a reason, you littering fuckers. So anyway, so you take off your glove, you throw it in the parking lot like a dumbass. Okay, thanks. And then you get on your telephone, okay, and just put your fingers all over it. And then, oh, my eyes itching, so I'm going to touch my eyeball. Oh, right, I got a little nose hair. It's bothering me. I'm going to itch my nose hair. Well, guess what, honey? Your fingers your fingers are all over that phone that had your gloves on it, that cross-contamination from the cart to the items to the from the items to the cart to the conveyor belt to the little pad that you put your numbers in for your credit card. So people are being retarded. They're not doing PPE properly. I think people don't understand it.
I think they are. I think they are ignorant.
A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot.
To how all that works. First of all, people are littering left and right because they're throwing their masks and their gloves and their like little wipes, like the alcohol wipes on the ground and all that stuff, which is, one, it's disgusting and it's rude.
It's really disgusting.
It's also...
So you might as well just go shit out in public. That's how disgusting it is.
It's also an issue because people are going to have to pick those up eventually.
I don't want to
people who work in those establishments are going to eventually have to clean them up because, I mean, they're not just going to leave them there, and that's just rude.
Yeah, so it looks trashy, and it gets to the ocean eventually. Not all of it.
Well, that's a pollution in the environment is another
it goes
episode.
Somewhere, but anyway.
But also, you're right, where they, touch the debit pad to pay for their things, or they reach into their purse or whatever when they have, some of them with gloved hands, put whatever's on their gloves in their purse or in their wallets and pull stuff out. It is a little silly, or people are freaking out when someone else comes near them when they don't have gloved hands, but yet it's a mess. And there's not only a shortage of PPE because you can't really buy masks anywhere lately. Gloves are out of stock in a lot of places.
Glove, but it's on the ground.
Well, that's disgusting, honey.
Just saying.
And so what are people doing? I've also heard people reusing them, which is gross. Come on now.
Are they going to sanitize them and hang them up to dry?
Well, I don't know, but people are putting on them like the doctor's masks, and they're breathing and they're sneezing and they're hawking and all that stuff. Come on now.
Did you see that lady on my Facebook? She made a mask out of a diaper. And I thought that was
cool.
No, a little strange. It was obviously not used. But
I hope not.
No, it won't. But the way she did it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because did you hear that some of the nurses, I forget where at, I don't know what hospital, what country, whatever, but they're using trash bags for personal PPE.
Well, it's because they're out.
They're out.
They ran out.
Yes.
They ran out.
Yes.
And it's sad that that's happening. But this is all a lot of lessons to learn in this whole crisis, this whole epidemic. All right, this pandemic is teaching a lot of people in a lot of places where we need certain things and where our shortfalls are, because we were not prepared for this. No one was. And I mean across the board, across the world. It's not one or two leaders' fault. It's not one political party's fault. It's just
the bats.
Well, that's
I'm just
that's
saying.
a different
I'm just
topic.
being silly.
I'm very tired tonight.
I just got a little kick.
We know now, at least I would hope, that we are learning lessons, and we're going to take note, and we're going to move forward for when something else, God forbid it's forever, but something like this happens.
Yeah.
10 years ago or so, we had to deal with the swine flu, and we talked about the swine flu in the last episode. I thought we learned lessons from that, but then again, people were not hoarding soup and toilet paper like they are now. When the swine flu was spreading across the world.
I went to the store, it was all meats and cheese and
normal. Now,
it was fine.
Everything is gone.
And Walmart was super. And guess what? Remember that $5 bin at the electronics section? Everyone has seen that $5 bin of DVDs.
Where the movies that have been out for a while.
It's a huge bin.
Sometimes they're not the best movies. You know?
But
it's always stacked full.
So many, and
it was barely empty.
It was like maybe
empty.
10 in there.
And it was just a few of like. They were probably. I didn't really like look and see what the the titles were, but clearly they weren't ones that anyone wanted. But
that I've never ever seen that in my life. It's always been full all the time. That's telling you something. But it was busy today when we went to Walmart.
It was, and there was a handful of people that were wearing masks and everything. Oh. And before anyone judges as to why we're going out during this whole situation, we are not on mandatory quarantine or lockdown where we live.
Correct.
Okay, it is highly suggested. However, we are taking precautions when we go out, and we make sure that things are done. We quickly get into the shower once we get home. We take off our clothes. I'm sure this is a very wonderful visual for you out there. But we strip down when we get in the house.
Well, we don't strip at the door.
No. We make sure the neighbors can't see. We make sure the neighbors can't see.
But that's what supposedly a doctor has said, that it could be on your clothing. And that makes sense.
Right. So we make sure we don't put anything on the counters from outside.
Like grocery bags.
We sanitize everything. We spray everything with Lysol, even our shoes.
I spray the bottom.
We put our clothes directly into the wash machine and whatnot. We wash ourselves. We sanitize everything.
Yep. And
then we move on about our day. So we're taking every precaution that we can while staying sane, but we ran out of essentials again, so we had to go out and actually get stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay? It is what it is. All right? We're fine. We're healthy. We're not in an area that is highly populated with this coronavirus. Yeah. We're blessed by that.
Yes.
So.
I will say, though, I understand the mask part of why, but here I don't understand the gloves. And for that one reason, where people will wear them and cross-contaminate it, even if they're being smart, going, okay, I remember not to touch my eyes, nose, and mouth. Check, right? I remember not to get my phone with my gloves. Check. I remember little things like if you're anal and you remember, but if you really think about it and you touch something and then you touch something else, let's see if it's even the stomach virus or the flu, all right? And you touch something and then touch something else, and some little poor old lady comes by, and depending on what it is, they'll live on surfaces for a longer time, comes by and picks up, like, let's say, a pillowcase or something, or like a little decorative pillows, fabrics. I know metal, it stays for how many?
I think they said
like a couple of days or something.
Yeah, like 3 days or some weird number.
Let's say she bought some utensils, and someone picked it up with their gloves, and they're carrying this stuff. This poor little old lady obviously is going to get something. I mean, people aren't really thinking. And here's the dealio: why are you wearing the gloves when you need to wash your hands? That I don't understand. First of all, I've always sanitized when I go into the store. Don't care where I'm at. I always clean off the handles. And if the kids are in like the seat, the big part, I clean around the rim, right? And I say, okay, don't pick your nose, don't do anything crazy, whatever. And throughout the store, I give them a little squirt of sanitizer, especially right now because they touch everything. And I don't know what other people have touched or whatever. But I just think people aren't using common sense. They're freaking out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, this definitely taught people to actually use proper hygiene that weren't doing it before. You know,
wash your hands.
Yeah, like wash your hands, not cough on everything. Because people are freaking out. There are people who aren't covering their mouth and coughing around areas, and like grocery stores are throwing stuff in that area out.
Pennsylvania was that lady who coughed on produce.
Was it Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I saw it on the news. It was Pennsylvania, and they had to throw out, was it $32,000 or $35,000 worth of produce?
Well, yeah, I think she pretended to cough as she thought it was a joke, and now she's being charged with a terroristic threat or something. So yeah, they're taking it very seriously. Yeah. There was a Taco Bell employee that they found out he took a picture of himself licking taco shells.
Ew.
Yeah, people don't realize what's going on. There was I can't remember his name, and I'm not going to put his name out there, but there's a social media influencer. I saw it on the news today. That a social media influencer, he licked a toilet seat.
Oh, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, now he has coronavirus.
Oh my. Well, hold up. If he didn't get the coronavirus, if the coronavirus wasn't going on, and you still licked a fucking toilet seat.
That's gross.
You can probably get. I'm just going to name it.
Dysentery.
You can get the You probably get some kind of stomach virus. Shit, you probably get an STD in your mouth. You know why? Think about it. Someone's coochie.
Well, if they have crabs, you might. I don't know how that works, but
think
maybe.
of some bitch is sitting on that toilet seat and she got some like STDs marinating that bitch. She sit on that damn thing with no cover, no nothing. And she just sits on it, all her little juices, and then he licks it.
Oh, that's disgusting.
He's probably going to get an STD in his mouth.
Oh my god, parental discretion.
Hold up.
This is like.
I bet.
Listener discretion advice.
Yes, yes. Okay, they got it.
Ew.
Is it herpes? They'll probably get herpes in their mouth.
I don't know if herpes can transfer to a toilet seat. But it may be at least like
AIDS,
if she has no, I don't know, no.
Hey,
no.
If she's on her period, can they get AIDS?
No, I don't think they can get AIDS, honey. Come on now,
that's a
little extreme.
But why would you?
I would go as far as if she had a yeast infection or something like that, but come on, no.
It's like
gotta be at least.
It's like licking a random.
But we got to be a little bit responsible for what we say on the podcast. She's not going to get AIDS, but he can get some other kind of bacterial infection.
Let me just get this out. It's like licking a random coochie.
Maybe that's what he does. I don't know. That's none of my business.
But even he's not in his right mind to even be licking a toilet seat. How much is he getting paid to lick a damn toilet seat? Is it that much money?
I don't know what his following is. I'm not going to give him any
We're not gonna give him credit.
recognition or credit or anything. This individual, he apparently is an influencer of some level. And he documented himself licking a toilet seat, and now he was diagnosed with the coronavirus.
Oh my god!
Now, we don't wish ill upon anybody. We hope he has a recovery, but I hope he also learned his lesson because he clearly didn't take it seriously. There was another female who, I think even Dr. Phil got involved. She licked the toilet seat. I think it was on an airplane, and she posted it. And she was saying how she was at spring break and she was promiscuous and she did this and she did that and she was around a bunch of people and she didn't get coronavirus and how she thinks it's a hoax and all that stuff. And Dr. Phil even laid into her, putting her. I'll call out Dr. Phil because he's Dr. Phil, but we're not gonna.
Love Dr. Phil.
You can find that that episode and that video on your own, but we're not gonna put that crazy lady.
I can't believe
or whatever. So there are a lot of crazy, selfish, and not so nice people out there who are clearly not using PPE or any, personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. So, we are doing our best to, stay healthy, stay away from people who may be ill and whatnot. And we're hoping people are using personal responsibility. And if they're not feeling well, that they're not going out to the general public, if they're not shopping, they're not doing various other things to spread this virus.
Yeah, like last week, I didn't feel very well. Remember? I felt funny. I was like, my ear and my head. And I was like, oh my gosh. I went to my doctor. And it was just an ear infection. Yeah. But still, of course, I was like, okay, I don't think I have the coronavirus. I'm not coughing. I don't have a fever. I don't have any shortness of breath. But still, because I wasn't feeling that well, and I was like, okay, is this coming slowly or is it just something else? And if it is something else, I don't want to be my immune system to be weakened and then end up getting it. So either way, I was like, well, shit, I need to go. But I'm fine. I just have an ear infection. That's all it was. Yeah. But still, people are just like, oh, I'm fine. And the one guy I read went to CVS or something to pick up his prescription. And he had the coronavirus and just came on in whatever. Whatever. And that's just messed up,
Yeah, well,
It's like having a flu and sneezing on people. Yeah. That's fucked up.
It is.
It's really fucked up.
Well, people are being charged with various crimes if they're intentionally spreading this virus, or
which they should be.
They are inciting fear into other individuals because of this virus. The authorities are not taking this lightly at all. They are taking this very seriously, and they're coming down with some pretty serious charges for those individuals who are engaged in those activities and that behavior, which is rightfully so.
Yeah, because they're stupid. Why in the hell?
That said, we sincerely hope people are being safe out there and are taking care of themselves and each other, and that they're at least trying to stay positive, because we may not see the end of this for a while. I am teleworking for the foreseeable future. We know the kids are out of actual going to school for the remainder of the year.
Oh, my.
The churches are still shut down. So, I mean, half the restaurants and other establishments in the area are closed. Mm-hmm. So we'll make it through. Okay. I heard there's mandatory lockdowns in other states now or at least they're starting this week or whatever it is. I'm not sure. We don't live there. So just be careful, Wash your hands on a regular basis. Don't cough on anybody. If you are using gloves and masks, make sure you're changing them regularly and you're not cross-contaminating things. That way, if you are near somebody even if they don't have coronavirus, if they just have a stomach bug or they're just nasty.
Sucks. The stomach bug sucks.
Even if they're just nasty and not very hygienic and you cross-contaminate and then you go home and give it to your kids or your dog or your spouse or whatever, just be careful, okay?
And clean your cell phone regularly.
Clean your cell phone.
I do. I sanitize
disinfect
it,
spray it down because you will not believe what is on a cell phone, the average cell phone.
You used to do with yours.
Well, I'm a guy. When it takes me a while in there, so I'm playing like Candy Crush or something. I gotta stay busy.
Ew, unsanitary.
But when I'm ready to wipe, I put it down. I do my business. Then I wash my hands and then I finish the level. That's what I do.
It's still gross. That's why you need to clean your phone and just like your remotes and stuff too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So. With that, we're just over 20 minutes, so we wanted to keep this short and sweet. So we hope you all are doing okay out there.
Yes.
You're staying sane and you're staying busy and keeping yourselves occupied. And we hope your DVR isn't completely depleted by now.
Or your pantry, because I think we gained
I gained like 8 pounds in the last week. Oh my God.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is terrible.
It is
but
bad.
We still have cookies. Anyway, we're going to cut it off short. We're going to, actually relax and have another alcoholic beverage before we have to call it for the night. So
I love these things.
Not a paid sponsor, but these are very good.
But if they're willing to, I will accept it willingly.
Yes, but these are very good. Not a paid sponsor.
These are just to promote willingly.
For those
for myself, it's 100 calories. Okay, 2 carbs. Hello. 2 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugars. Hello. Love it. And black cherry is my favorite.
Yes.
5% alcohol.
For those of us who are not watching on YouTube and they're listening to us on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, or any of the other streaming services, it's the White Claw hard seltzer. Not a paid sponsor, but still very delicious.
Spiked sparkling water.
Yes.
Hint of black.
Okay, well.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Until next time, I'm Chris.
I'm Amanda.
All right, be good to each other.
All right, peace.
Night.